Right.
I might as well. I mean, Greg, you don't mind?
Yeah. No, we're good. We're good.
All right. Okay. I mean, probably wants to make sure that we're all doing it right.
Yeah, should have to go through the.
Yeah, right. You should call the switchboard.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if this is one of those butt dials.
Could be.
I get that all the time.
Number one in his favorites list.
I know. I love you.
Pat Curry, you there? You're on the radio.
Oh, I am, aren't I?
Is there something you needed from me today? You just want to say hi to Greg?
I just want you to wish my brother Bobby a heavenly birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Uncle Bob.
Yeah, Uncle Bob.
Yeah, happy birthday, Uncle Bob.
Other than that, you guys getting rolling, huh?
Yes, sir.
This morning?
We're going to call him in a little bit. Yep.
Did he? All right, I'll tell him you're going to call him because I didn't know yet. But
All right, sounds great.
it's about 9:25.
All right, well, happy birthday, Uncle Bob. We'll be thinking of him today.
All right, we'll see you.
Yep, absolutely. Bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, welcome to Curry's
We're-
Hot Stove League.
We're blessed by the boss. There,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess he had to check in on us, make sure that we weren't screwing around. So today we got our co-host Adam Curry, and our guest today is Ferris State University soccer coach Greg Henson. You guys are pretty early into your season, I believe. What are you guys? 2-0, 3-0?
Yeah, we're actually 2-3-1.
2-3-1. Okay.
2-1 and 3. Right?
2-1 and 3. Okay.
Gotta get that in the right order. Sometimes soccer standings, they like to put it in the other.
Right.
Europeans, they put it on the other side, so I get it mixed up sometimes. So 2 wins, 1 loss, and 3 ties.
Good
right
weekend.
Now, so great weekend. Yeah, we got off finally on the winning streak. Got 2 wins over 2 conference opponents. So we're 2-0 in the conference. So a great start for us coming out of the weekend.
And Roosevelt coming up, if I'm correct.
Yeah, so we have 2 weeks during the conference season where we only play 1 game a weekend, so we get a bye date, not a bye week. Like football has a bye week this week. We get a bye date, so we're off Friday and we'll play at Roosevelt on Sunday. So it gives us a little bit of extra time to let some players rest up and heal up, and hopefully get a few players off the IR if we can.
Right. So I guess coming off, you got GLIAC Player of the Week with Catherine Welch. I think she had a goal in one game and an assist in the other.
Yes.
A couple 1-0 wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, we beat Davenport Friday 1-0, and Welch got the assist in that game, and then got the game winner on Sunday against Purdue Northwest. So. GLIAC Player of the Week for her. It's not a strange thing. She's been our top goal scorer for the last couple of years. She was a freshman of the year in the GLIAC her freshman year. So she's definitely somebody that really does well for us up front.
Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, in the last couple of weeks, you've become the all-time winningest soccer coach at Ferris State.
Yeah, that just means 2 things. 1, I've been here for a little while, and 2, I've been blessed to coach a lot of great players. And
how many years have you been here?
This is my 7th season.
Seventh season?
7th season.
Great.
And not going anywhere.
No plans to.
All
no
right.
plans to. Yeah, so we still got some things left on the old checklist to scratch off there. We want to accomplish those tasks.
So I guess for those listening, give us a little bit about yourself, a little backstory, who you are, how you came to be here, and I guess we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, and obviously soccer's a huge thing there in St. Louis, and loved the sport and played all my life, and all the way through college. And going into college, I was going to be a history teacher and a high school soccer coach. That was the goal. And as we all know, in college, college kids tend to change their minds a little bit, and some different things came along, and all of a sudden went a different way, and got into the business world right out of college, and kind of got away from the game for a while. And one of my really good friends from college, came to me and was like, "Hey, I need help coaching this camp." And I'm like, "All right, fine." So my first coaching gig, I got paid in a case of beer, right? So that was my first coaching salary, and kind of got the bug for it there. And then spent the next 10 years kind of coaching at the club level, right, the youth club level, while still working. And then one day I woke up and just realized, I hate my 9 to 5 and I love my hobby. So how do I make this transition work? It was a horrible financial decision, you know what I mean? So to chase the dream, but ever since then, I always say I've never worked another day in my life. I get paid to do what I love to do, and it's been great. And so I took a junior college job in St. Louis. First head coaching job, I got paid $7,000 a year, right? This is how bad the financial world was. And the second year, got a raise to $10,000. And if you think about it, that's a hell of a percentage raise right there, right? To go from 7 to 10. So, and then got in the full time, at a D2 in St. Louis, coaching a high school on the side. that led me to Concordia University, Nebraska, in the high school, and just outside of Lincoln, Nebraska. Was there for 6 years, had a great run there, and then Ferris State position became available, and through connections and everything else, Perk gave me a call, and the next thing you know, I'm in Big Rapids, and we've had a great run so far here, and coming off of a couple rebuilding years, and really looking to get back to the top of the GLIAC standings and back to the national tournament.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys have, I guess, the last few years had a lot of success. Talk about your time here, and I guess maybe the last few years, because I think that's really where the program has kind of been.
So when I was at Concordia, Nebraska, I wasn't looking to leave there either, right? I'd really built the program up, and we were. I always said I don't want to rebuild another program. I'm tired of rebuilding programs. It's kind of what you do, right? The jobs don't open because people are doing well, right? You know what I mean? So, but the previous year to me coming here, Andy McCaslin, the previous coach, had just taken the team to the Sweet 16, and so the job opened, and I'm like, you know what? That's the type of position I'm looking for. And when you look at Ferris State and the soccer complex that we have here. You know, it's one of the best in the region, if not in the nation, in terms of just for women's soccer. And I was like, okay, we got great facilities. We got a team that's already built and winning. Let's go. You know, year one we came in, stumbled a little bit, but had a good season, right? And then the following year was COVID, right? So I mean, just get to town, figuring everything out, and the next thing you know, the world shuts down. And so we came out of the COVID season, did really well. Won our first conference championship that year, regular season, won 8-1-1 because it was a shortened season in the spring. And unfortunately lost in the semifinals to our friends down south, right? But and in Grand Valley, but had a great season. The following year, won the conference tournament championship for the first time, finished second in the league, beat Grand Valley on their home field, which was a huge win for us. Got back to the national tournament, and unfortunately lost in the first round in PKs that year. And then the following season, we go on the run, right? And that's when we make it to the Final Four and have a great year. And it's just that line is in sports. And I tell this all the time, and it's our 2021 team was better than our 2022 team, right? And so, but just the PK difference, right? You know what I mean? And so the margin for victory is so small, and so you got to cherish that. But those are 3 great seasons for us, obviously historic, and we look to get back into that level again here, shoot.
Yeah, and so that year that you guys made the run, what was your record that year? I thought I saw it was it the European record, 15-3-1.
Yeah, something like that. We had a bunch of ties. I know we had a bunch of ties in there. So I can't tell you 100%, but it was.
It's incredible though.
It was good. Yeah, we had a rough start that year, and so that's kind of we started off 1-3-2 on the season, so it was not a good start. And then we went on a tear, right? And we got things sorted out and got things figured out, and went on a really long, I think a 12 or 13 game unbeaten streak that year, and when we got to the tournament. We had to get in, and we got in, and once we got in, we just got hot and just kept riding that momentum streak.
Yeah, and didn't lose on penalty kills.
No, and the first round, it went 9 rounds, which is unheard of.
Wow.
Right? So it was 9 rounds, and there's a great story with that. So Bella Sabo was one of our seniors that year, and we go into the 9th round of PKs, and it's been back and forth the whole time, and I said to her after the game, after she hits the game-winning PK, and we're all huddled up after the game, and she's right next to me, and I said, I go, Sabes, when I saw you walking up, I knew we won the game. And she's like, Coach, if you had that much confidence in me, why was I shooting 9th? So it was
fair enough.
It's great, awesome, great line, yeah. So
well, and those are the stories that you take with you,
yeah.
And then like the next season, you can hand that story off to the person that's in that position. Like, hey, we've already been here before. If you're in that similar position, we've already been here before, and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Just have the confidence, right? Yeah. Well, that's great. So like that year, we were chatting earlier about injuries that you've had this year, which is pretty crazy. To have that, it kind of really stinks to have that issue early in the season because you've already got your game plan set up. You already have everything. You kind of figured out what you're going to do. And then injuries really throw a wrench in there. So that year, real quick before we talk about this year and the injuries we've had this year, that year, did you have to work around that sort of scenario, or did you get lucky?
No, it was actually one of those years where like we had so much adversity, and some of it was major and some of it was minor, but when it builds up and stacks on, and I think that was one of the main reasons why that team had such a great season, is that we had already been through so many different little obstacles. It started with, that spring is when we had, or the year before, we had that flash flood that came through town, right? And it caused a sinkhole in our turf field, and all of a sudden, we don't have a practice field that we can play on, because our game field that year was a little late coming in, so it wasn't quite ready. They did some maintenance to it. And so when we got in the preseason, we didn't have a full-size soccer field on campus that we could train on, right? And so it doesn't sound like it's huge, but it makes a difference. I'm trying to go, okay, do we want to play on a short field or a narrow field? Because we don't have everything. So it's kind of how it started, and it's a minor thing, but we just had a lot of little bumps in the road along the way, and it just made us stronger and stronger as we went. We had our fair share of things that came up, but we stayed pretty much healthy throughout that season. But there's a lot of little different things that we had to overcome throughout the year. I remember keeping a list. So I was like, okay, what else can go wrong this year, right? And so you're kind of thinking through those things. But we persevered through it. I think that's the greatest challenge that teams face, is how do they deal with adversity. Right. And that was the year that we kind of, that I coined a phrase, I guess, it became, now it's part of our culture. But I interviewed with Harrison Watt after a game one day, and I said this off the cuff, and, we play for the right to play in bad weather. So we want to play in the worst conditions, and that's how college soccer is set up, right? We start in the fall when it's beautiful, right? And then the season gets worse and worse and worse. And so that year we played in the playoffs in Bemidji, Minnesota, and it was like -17 wind chill outside. And so, we're doing everything we can right now to play in the worst possible weather. And so we have to be able to overcome those adversities. And this year, unfortunately, early on, we got hit with the injury bug, and some of our players that we kind of had penciled in to have great seasons for us are now no longer available to us. And, we've played, we're going into week 6, I guess, technically, if you count the 2 preseason weeks. And we haven't started the same starting lineup in back-to-back games because of availability of players. So we're kind of constantly moving those pieces around and trying to figure out what sticks, and we're looking for some continuity. And luckily we've had that with our goalkeeper this year, and she started every game for us, and she's having a great season. And
17 saves.
So 3 shutouts on the year, and just doing a great job. She's a redshirt freshman, so she's redshirted last year, and came back with us. So Corinne Urke's having a great year for us, and she's been kind of that stable for us. She's the one, even in these past 2 games, our back line changed, right? You know what I mean?
Your goalie, I don't know soccer that well, but I feel like your goalie is a big backbone for your team, right? Because if they let a goal in, and you're talking adversity, a goal goes in, that's adversity, right? Because it's hard to get another one. It's hard to get one back on them. And if your goalie doesn't have that top-notch, all right, I'm ready for the next one, scenario, it really will dictate what your team does.
Well, to quote Ted Lasso, you got to have a goldfish mentality, right? You know what I mean? And so what I've always told my keepers over the years is, if you make a mistake or a team makes a mistake and you concede a bad goal, you have until the ball gets kicked off to think about it. And then we got to start playing again. And it's got to be in your mind 0-0, and you got to go out there and battle. And so that's always been kind of the mindset we've given them. And Corinne, for us this year, is just a real calming presence in the back, right? She doesn't get rattled. She, there's not a lot of change in voice inflection and things of that nature. And so really kind of calms down the players in front of her. Sometimes you can have a really great goalkeeper that's a super athlete, but if they unnerve everybody in front of them, right, it doesn't really help a lot. So, we want to have that calming force. And plus, the other thing with Corinne, it's a big strength of hers, is just her feet. So you'll see her dribbling outside the 18 with the ball at her feet and looking to distribute rather than just punting the ball, which is a 50-50 ball, at midfield.
You can place the ball if you...
Yeah, so she can actually make it a pass, right, that you want to receive instead of just this ball falling out of the sky.
You get momentum.
Yep, exactly. So she provides a few different weapons for us there.
Great. Let's like that adversity thing. If those seasons where you run into it early tend to have success at the end, right? Mm-hmm. I had a question about where you guys play. Most of the fields, are they all turf, or are they?
When I got here, the whole league was primarily grass, and now it's there was only 3 schools. We're one of 3 schools left with a grass field.
So what do you think about turf with soccer?
So here's my thing on it, right? So a good grass field like we have here is better than turf. Yeah. But turf is better than everything else.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's how it's kept.
Yeah. It's actually a lot of times it's more expensive and it's more labor intensive to maintain a good grass field, because you got to be on it daily, and you can't let it go, right? And so turf, you still need to you still got to groom the turf field, right? So there's still, you see them kind of driving around. You're like, are they mowing the turf? What are they doing? But you still got to groom it if you want it to last.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my rule. A good grass field's better than turf, but turf's better than everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we're early into soccer. My daughter plays, and she's 11 years old, and we played, everything from, we were in Lansing, the field. If you got down on the ground, it kind of looked like mountains. Mm-hmm. Like the ground just went up and down, and kids were, dropping their hips in them, and it was awful. But so you go from that, they'll play on that, and that's hard. That's adversity. Mm-hmm. And then they'll go and play at the Meyer Fieldhouse on that turf, and they kick the ball in Lansing, and it goes 10 feet, and they kick the ball in Meyer, and it goes 100 feet. So that I just wondered, even at the collegiate level, do they struggle with that difference? Does the ball fly different for them too?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely doesn't. It depends on how long the grass is cut and what type of grass it is. And so you got different feel. Like down south, they play on Bermuda grass, which grows sideways, not up and down, right? You know what I mean? So it plays more like turf, and so it just depends on how the field's maintained. And the 3 grass fields we have in our conference, Northern's got a pretty good grass field. Just depends on the weather up there, and then Parkside doesn't have the best field in the world. Yeah. So, but they both have men's teams, so they're playing. They got 2 teams playing on it.
Yeah, they're beating
and the guys are a lot harder on it than the women. So
is Northern inside or outside?
Outside. Yeah, it's right on Lake Superior. Yeah, it's right on the edge of the lake. So it's always windy and it's always cold.
Well, that's what we were talking about earlier. What you want to play in the hard stuff, so that when it comes time for that, the tournament, it's in November.
This year the national championship, the Final Four will be in Colorado Springs. So sometimes the NCAA doesn't own a map, I think. So when they put some of these things, so it's like, can we go a little warmer? So
if you make it that far and you're playing there, the altitude.
That too,
the difference there when it comes to conditioning is probably a huge.
And ball flight, kind of like in golf, if you play in the mountains, the ball goes further.
Those things all come into play, and at the end of the day, it's just about it's the same for both teams. So unless you're playing a Colorado team, it won't be it won't be an issue when you're out there. But like I said, those are the challenges that we get in the playoff runs. I always remind the team, we can complain about things, or we can remember that we're 1 of 8, 1 of 16, 1 of 4, whatever the case is. That everybody else would love to be playing right now, right? And I remember we had the Bemidji trip I mentioned earlier. We were for the Sweet 16, the Elite 8 and 22, and it was going to be cold. I mean, it was horrible, right? It was negative 17 wind chill or something like that. It was the worst weather I've ever been in. So I just reminded the players before in our team meeting before we even got on the flight to go. I said, just remember, this is voluntary. You don't have to get on the plane, but nobody, so just kind of put them in the right mindset of like, we get to do this. We don't have to. Nothing's happening to us, right? We get the opportunity to
one
go.
Time. Yeah. You get that one chance. And
so you got to take advantage of the opportunity, right? And that lifetime of the opportunity and go with it. And so we can complain about. Normally, what we do here is, I always joke, we're like the post office. So we practice outside, rain, sleet, snow. The only thing that keeps us off the field is lightning. And before we have those practices in bad weather, I just remind them, okay, here we go. We got 5 minutes. Get your complaints out, and then we're going to roll, right? Because we're going to practice no matter what. So
I won't complain.
They're good about it. So
I won't complain when Christy has practice when it's downpouring anymore.
Well, for the coach and the fans, it sucks. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm still complaining about the weather.
Anyway.
No, I don't.
What might happen to me.
You're right. I don't complain to her. I complain to my wife, who then maybe she never talks to her.
Yeah.
So who are some players then this year outside of, we talked about Catherine a little bit. Who are some players that looking to this year?
The other two, I think that, a couple of players, specifically 2 seniors for us this year, Bella Valoni and Ella Wolf. They've started every game, I think, except for between the 2 of them. Bella started every game of her college career. Ella missed 2 starts due to an injury earlier in her career. And they both been center backs. And they came in as freshmen, and that's part of that 22 season that, again, we always go back to. But they were 2 freshman center backs on a back line that went to the Final Four. And it's kind of unheard of. So in soccer, that center back role, we talked about the goalkeeper earlier, but that center back role, they're organizing everything. And so they have 2 freshmen playing together. So they're a crazy experience now for us. And we're gonna sorely miss them when they leave because they've been with us for so long. But we got a couple good freshmen that are just kind of waiting their turn now. I'm like, hey,
I met one yesterday.
Yeah, it's open competition, but you're up against it, right? You know what I mean? So you got to wait your turn a little bit. But those 2 have been great for us. Bella's one of our captains, and they just been just been so consistent and great players for us. And Izzy Barron's one of our juniors. She's in the middle of the park right now, and she's doing a great job holding down the fort there. Annie Hartley's a 5th-year senior for us. She's been again around for a long time, and those are our veterans that we really have. Yeah.
So Bella did her internship with us this summer.
Yeah.
Worked our Marine Patrol for us.
She's going to Officer Baloney, we call her now.
Yeah,
so
she was awesome.
She's going to be great.
It's not very often deputies really always like interns. Whereas this summer we had Bella, who everybody really liked, and then Emma Bleacher, who's a Ferris volleyball player, who everybody really liked, and. Yeah, Bella was she did really well. I saw her yesterday. There was a career fair over at Ferris, and we were up there, and Bella was there. And then there was a freshman soccer player, and I didn't really get it myself to who's in criminal justice, who stopped by the table too.
Yeah, we got a couple. We got a couple of them. I can't keep all their majors straight because they change them on me sometimes, right? But we got a couple more in the pipeline that are coming through in criminal justice, and I know we've got a couple incoming too that'll be here next fall that are coming through. So it's a great program at Ferris. The criminal justice program's a great program, and we love working with those guys. So
Bella came to us through Justin actually. Justin Fox got a hold of me and said, "Hey, I got a player on our team here who's in criminal justice and needs to do an intern, and what do you think?" And so, it's nice to be able to have those relationships and build on it.
Yeah, and Justin's been a great addition to the staff. So obviously a Big Rapids legend here, and so he's been a great addition to the staff.
Is he listening?
He should be at work, so I don't know if he's going to get the radio on or not. So he's probably in the classroom somewhere.
We'll record it, and I'll get it to him.
But he's been a great addition for us, and so kind of at Ferris sometimes we have to find ways to to solve problems, be creative, and so when he decided to step away from coaching at the high school level, I was like, all right, well, let's figure this out, right? Let's find a way to get you on staff over here, and it's worked out really well.
And how much is he involved right now with watching his kids play still?
Yeah, so that, when we had a great schedule set up for the fall, and then both of his kids last second decided, hey, we're going to be college soccer players again. And so I told the team at the beginning of the year, I said the worst attribute of Justin as a college soccer coach is that he's a great dad.
Right.
And so he's going to miss some stuff more than he did in the past. And so, but he's there at least. We have it worked out. So we have another. So when he kind of had a scheduling change because of wanting to see his kids play college soccer, which I think is great, we were able to bring in Nikki May, which is one of our alums and one of the captains from that 22 team, who also works at Riverview Elementary.
Yeah.
And so we were able to bring Nikki back as well. So the two of them are kind of splitting that part-time role. So we have one of them at practice every day, if not both, and so it works out really well for us. So
that's great that you had a player stick around Big Rapids.
Yeah, so Nikki was she was a transfer from Oakland University. She was a D1 transfer for us from Oakland. Played for us for 3 seasons, and then stayed on as our student assistant, and then did a great job at Riverview, and Renee snatched her up and talked her into staying. So she stayed there, and this is her 2nd year teaching at Riverview. And then I was able to bring her back. I would have liked to just kept her on staff, but I was like, you need to go settle yourself in, start your career, and then figure out, do you have the time to commit to this? And so we're not, taking away from it in year one. So I can only imagine. I never became a teacher, but year one as an educator has got to be a pretty stressful.
It's got to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I could be an educator.
Yeah.
Especially at the elementary level. Yeah, I mean, we love having people come to Big Rapids, find out how much they love Big Rapids, and then stick around. It's great. Let's talk about Ferris a little bit. I watched the interview that you had after that last game, and I like the scripture, the proverb, iron sharpens iron, and how true it is when you correlate it or relate it to Ferris. And all of these programs are so successful, and it's because of coaches like you. But I know you can look around the room and, okay, they're successful. Why aren't we? Or why we should be too? Not why aren't we, but we should be too. How does that, real quick, affect your players?
Yeah, I think it's a positive. I mean, so you see so much success on campus, and obviously football is well documented, right? Their success. Tia's done an unbelievable job with volleyball program over the year. Jake Schumann came in recently, and he got the softball team back up and running, and they're back in the national tournament. And Mark and over with tennis and golf does a great job as well. So I mean, across the board, there's so many teams that do well, and we were a part of it, and now we kind of, like I said, hit a little bit of a couple rebuilding years, and our players are active to get back. And I think it's just a matter of, the biggest thing is that. And you see it in the weight room, and that's where the most of the crossover is between teams. So, like, there might be two teams working out, or we have players that have to miss, our scheduled weight time because of nursing or because of internships or whatever the case may be, or travel, and they're jumping in, they're getting a workout and during one of the football lifts, and there's no issues, right? I mean, because everybody's there for the right reasons, and everybody's here for the right reasons. And at Ferris, all the athletes are here to win championships and play at the highest level. And so there's a level of respect there, I think, between the teams. It starts with the coaching staffs. We have a great coaching staff across the board in terms of working together and all those type of things, and supporting one another. And that's why you see coaches at different games, and you see all the athletes at each other's games. And probably because of the level of success, that's probably the one area that you see that it's tough, is that I always kind of joke, like, when it's big games and it's playoff time, all the athletes are at the games. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the regular season, sometimes we're like the '90s Atlanta Braves fans, right? It's like, well, we'll just when we get to the playoffs, we'll show up, right? You know what I mean? So so it's one of those things. But it's because of all of our times are overlapping each other. I mean, we, football has homecoming game. Well, we had practice on Saturday, right? Mm-hmm. So we got a task to complete, because we have 2 games on homecoming weekend, and we've got to win both of these conference matches, and so. The athletes are so in tune with their own, fun tunnel vision, if you will, but the support's still there. And I think we do notice everybody else doing well, and everyone wants to match that. So
that's great. Yeah, you kind of have to have that culture, and we've been lucky. We've been very fortunate to have all these good coaches show up to Ferris and really build that. You're building players, you're building teams, but the culture that they've created is just incredible. Mm-hmm. And part of that started with Perk when he was here.
Really, it did.
He obviously called you, but he had that networking ability, and no questions asked. Let's just do it.
Yeah, I think Ferris has always had a very blue collar mindset when it comes to athletics, and today's generation, sometimes we gotta explain what that means, right? You know what I mean? They don't always know off the cuff what that means anymore. But so we have to kind of define that a little bit. But it's just, I think across the board, you see it with all the teams too. Yeah. It's all hard-working, gritty performances, and bring the lunch pail with you, let's go to work type of mentality, and I think that's also what really lends itself to what we were talking about, in terms of there's a culture within Ferris athletics that goes through all the sports, and it's not like it's just hit or here or there, whatever the case may be. And it came from for a few years there, at least when I first got here, where we didn't have necessarily the best facilities all the way around. Now we're getting more.
Working on it.
And so now everything's improving constantly. And so now it's a challenge for us as coaches to keep that blue-collar, gritty mindset when we have all these fancy things, right? So it's that makes it a little bit of a challenge for us, but we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do we want to do a break? Greg, we're going to do a quick break.
Yep, we'll do a break.
And then I think we have to contact Coach Selzer from Big Rapids Football. What's that?
I didn't realize what time it was.
Me neither. We got going.
Goes fast when you're having fun. Yeah.
And then we'll come back, get a hold of Mike, and then come back with Greg and finish up.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Greg.
On Curry's Hot Stove League.
This is Alec Gary of Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes in Big Rapids and Barrington. I believe what sets Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes apart from everyone else is our commitment to service excellence. When a family calls, we are there before, during, and after the funeral experience. I want you to be able to trust calling us. We're here to guidance and counsel each and every single family to each and every single need. And we just feel like the commitment to families, especially ones that put their care and trust in us, we are going to go above and beyond to do anything we can to help a family during their time of loss. This is Alec Gary, a legacy of service, a promise of care, with Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes, located in Big Rapids and in Barrington.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curries Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
All right, welcome back. I had to get our sponsors in. We still have Greg here in the studio with us. We got our weekly check-in with Coach Mike Selzer from Big Rapids High School football. Last week was homecoming. Was it last week?
It was.
It was last week. Boy, time just flies. I just remember, I don't know if I've ever had a harder time finding a parking spot at Big Rapids High School than I did last week. And
That's a good problem to have.
Yep, and it's going to be worse this week. So if you plan on coming out and watching Big Rapids play Reed City on Friday, plan on getting there early because spots are going to be tight. And
plays to begin with, and then in the second quarter, their quarterback Veltman, he went out with a shoulder injury. And then on the next play, their backup quarterback, or 2 plays later, their backup quarterback went out as well. And so that made it kind of tough on them to have a third-string quarterback who did an outstanding job for, I know in most programs, the third-string quarterback is not going to get a whole lot of reps during the week and see a whole lot of time in that position, though he's an athlete. Somewhere else on the field, just getting those reps there makes it tough. So I thought Tri-County did a good job considering the adversity that they had to deal with and kept fighting the whole time. But I was really proud of how our guys executed on Friday. I thought we had a good mix of run and pass, and I thought our defense, continues to play well. Maybe a highlight being Braylon Counselor with that interception for a touchdown. That was great. It was a great job by our assistant coaches talking that up as, a probability during the timeout right before that play. So that was in our kids' heads that, that was a probability of a play, and Braylon read it perfectly, stepped in front, and then, took it 20-plus yards to the house for a score. And overall, I thought our kids played well Friday.
I liked at the second half there, you got some, younger players and maybe some reserves in to give them a chance to get some time. I was pretty impressed there by Baby and a couple of the touchdown runs. Not surprised, but, it was good to see.
Yeah, he did really good, especially in that last drive of the fourth quarter. We had a lot of fifth quarter kids in. A lot of those sophomores were in that fourth quarter and was still able to put a full drive together. Now, on the other side, Tri-County had done a full mass subbing as well, so all their fifth quarter kids were in at that time as well. They kind of had raised up the white flag, and so when we saw that, we did a mass substitution as well and got a lot of guys that haven't had much playing time, or those sophomores in on the field for the first time, and got to let both sides finish out that game and keep your varsity dudes kind of avoiding injury, a needless injury anyways, towards the end of the game that had already been decided.
Right,
so,
right.
That was excellent for both sides to get those guys some experience in that. So, and you said this week, is Reed City, and they're a good team. Play physical, fast. They hide the ball well, and they got that kind of three-headed monster in the backfield with Kopic and Deitch and I can't think of his name. He's a wrestler, number 22. He's a dude. Kianis, that's it.
Yeah.
Kianis. So they got any one of those three can be explosive offensively, and their defense has been playing really well. So it's going to be a good game Friday.
Yeah, so, no matter where each team is in that season, it's Big Rapids Reed City. And, coaching youth sports as long as I have, I always tell the kids, you don't always remember what your record is when you're all done playing, but you always know how you did against Reed City. And,
and you know the score.
Yeah.
So, I get asked a lot about that, about it being Reed City and, what's different this week. And the truth is, and I know it's the same for Scott, is there's nothing different, right? You go about your preparation the same way. We have our same meetings on Sunday. We go through our game planning and then our implementation. We don't add any practices to this week. We don't add any special sessions. We don't, we found a formula that we think works and we stick to it. And so, if we get into the playoffs, week 10 is going to look the same as week 4. And so, it's about building that routine for our guys. Now, does the community really like this game and get up for it? Absolutely. And do the guys get a little bit extra? For sure. But, mentally we have to treat it like it's another game.
Right. I guess the most impressive thing with me this season with you guys has been that defense. Just everybody swarms to the ball and everybody is sticking hard. Just seen so much from the defense this year, and I think they're only getting better.
Yeah, I think I think there's a lot of things to that, right? It's when you got good athletes out there, you always look better. And we're fortunate that on our roster of 26, we have 26 that can be on the field at any time. There's guys that are not. Might not be a starter, but as soon as they're in, there's not much of a drop-off, and that allows us to fly around and substitute guys in and keep up that intensity and that high pace. And, one thing that we preach a lot is, and this is, heard a Hall of Fame coach say this when I was a young coach, and it really stuck with me, is it takes zero talent to be a great hitter. Mm-hmm. It's all about desire, and that's one of the things our defensive coaches preach, and I think our kids do a great job of is being big hitters and taking pride in that. So it's nice when you see 11 guys flying around and nobody shying away from contact or making a tackle, and that wears on teams over 4 quarters of football. That makes a difference.
Yeah, and impact stops the play. So
yep.
The guys probably know that, but if you hit a guy soft, you have more time for the play to go on and more time for injury. But if you just come up and make that hit, they obviously show it. I've seen it too, where one guy makes that first hit and then the next couple are there to help too. But if you're making that impact, it keeps you from getting injured.
Yeah, and that it's definitely better to be the hammer than the nail. And I think our guys have done a good job over the last few years of preparing their bodies for a football season and spending time in the weight room. And, with the weight room comes confidence. And then with that strength comes that ability to stop. On Friday, we were, Tri-County was 1 for 9 on 3rd downs and 0 for 2 on 4th downs. And those 4th downs were short yardage downs. And, being able to stop the ball at the line of scrimmage, gives you the ball back, and I think our defensive line has done that, and our linebacking core has been really good about flying to the ball and being very aggressive,
getting good reads, and that Tri-County team is a good team. They're a pretty solid team. So coming into that game, obviously you said you prepared the same way, so you did, and that the team was a solid team. This week coming into Reed City after seeing what happened to Tri-County so a solid team loses 2 quarterbacks, and it just kind of pulls them apart a little bit, right? Do you guys take that real-time example, and do you do more this week? I know Cole's, healthy, and
So we always have, everybody has a backup plan, but like everybody else, our 3rd quarterback is not going to get a ton of reps.
Yeah.
Our 3rd quarterback got a lot of reps in the summer and has gone through our offense. But as you evolve, you go with the strengths of what you have now. And so if we were to have a different quarterback in there, then our play calls will change to that. And we have those, our offensive coaches do a great job of, here's our game plan. If this isn't working, here's plan B. And then if that doesn't work, here's plan C. So we have those calls already designated based off of what quarterback is in and playing to their strengths. And I know Tri-County did as well, but you're still not going to get the same results. And I think, at that point that their third string quarterback was in, it was already 30-something to 7, and they hadn't been very effective running the ball. So that forced them to throw a lot more than they wanted to.
Yeah. So going into Reed City, do you guys do anything with your players to keep the tensions down? I know, like you say, with the strength comes confidence, and confidence, allows them to do some things. It could be a pretty tough game, and I'm sure there could be some things set out on the field that result in possible penalties and late hits, etc. Do you guys prepare for much of that?
Well, we talk about it, but kind of as I said earlier, if you go back and you watch our kids and Reed City kids, the games are usually pretty clean. The kids know each other. They have a mutual respect for each other, and they know each other. That kind of like other teams in our league, and like Chip Hills is. Our kids spend a lot of time together, so it's more than just on the football field. They have those relationships. They spend, a lot of our kids at Career Center spend half the day with Reed City kids and Chip Hills kids, and so they know that there's also relationships after the game that are there. So we don't spend a lot of time talking about keeping it clean. We want to play fast and hard, and we preach talking with our pads and not our mouths.
Got it. Yeah.
Right. Well, that's exactly the way to be.
That's exactly. And you've got good kids. So we're very lucky here that we've got good kids with good attitudes, and they do just like the soccer team, fair soccer team. They just want to go out there and win. So
and they work.
Go out and play and let your play speak for itself, because we know that in those games it's the guy who retaliates that gets called for it, and especially in a game like Tri-County Big Rapids or Big Rapids Reed City, is other people expect that out there, and so they're looking for it like any little thing. So we talk a lot about having our composure, and big thing that we preach and we work on is worrying about the things that we can control, not the things that are beyond our control. And if we focus on the little things, the big things happen. And so, it's working on route execution. It's working on making sure that we got the right protection calls. It's if our running back is doing this, then our tackle needs to know how that changes what he does. And so it's a lot of communication, and it's a lot of execution. And moving forward, if we focus on those details, we'll just continue to get better.
Right.
No real injuries right now, then, that, it seems like you guys are pretty healthy for the most part. I guess there's always bumps and bruises at this point in the season, but...
Yeah, week 5, you never get through a season without somebody dealing with something. And last week, we had the flu bug and the congestion, and there was another one. There was the flu, congestion, and sinus infections had ran rapid through our team. We didn't have a day where we weren't missing 4 or 5 guys because we had the majority of kids one day or another were sick, and that has seemed to run its course. Last week we got 1 or 2 that are on Monday were not feeling good. Tuesday we're really light in practice to get healthy, and it's hydration, and it's nutrients, and it's good sleep. That's what we got to do. So outside of the cold or the flu, we don't have anything major. We're fortunate to be where we are at this time in the season.
That's great.
Probably because they're the ones making the hits.
Yeah, and that's that's a big part of it, is if your body is in shape, and like all teams, weeks 5 through 6, 5, 6, and 7, that season has kind of, you're in the middle of the season, the grind is set in, and so with that we're going to start looking at kind of changing things up to get them kind of rejuvenated and freshened up for the second half of the season. So it's a lot about taking care of the bodies.
Right. Well, thanks, Coach. We will
absolutely.
let you go, and good luck on Friday. And we'll talk to you next Wednesday and recap the Reed City game, and look forward to talking about next week's.
Sounds great. Appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, we'll take another quick break and be back with more as we wrap up Curry's Hot Stove League on B1039. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curry's Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
This is Alec Gary of Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes in Big Rapids and Barrington. I believe what sets Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes apart from everyone else is our commitment to service excellence. When a family calls, we are there before, during, and after the funeral experience. I want you to be able to trust calling us. We're here to guidance and counsel each and every single family to each and every single need. And we just feel like the commitment to families, especially ones that put their care and trust in us, we are going to go above and beyond to do anything we can to help a family during their time of loss. This is Alec Gary, a legacy of service, a promise of care, with Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes, located in Big Rapids and in Barrington.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Booked at Curry's.
Pete, why do you come to Curry's?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I go to Curry's to get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions and mayonnaise and ketchup. And you're not going to ask, where's the beef? It's going to be in the bun.
All right, back with Curry's Hot Stove League.
All right, got Adam, myself, and Greg Henson. Greg, we talked a little bit about how you've come to be where you are, the seasons in the past, the early part of this season, but you got a lot of season left. And I guess let's look forward and see what you have coming up, not too far forward, because we always go one game at a time, I know, but what are your expectations moving forward?
Like any good coach, we give the old coach speak of one game at a time, and we're not looking any further than the next game on the schedule. But so that's a wrap. We're on the road this weekend. I mentioned earlier we got a bye date on Friday, so we're just got one game this weekend at Roosevelt in Chicago. And then the following weekend, we're up in the UP against Northern Michigan and Tech, and two good programs up there. Yeah, we're happy to go in September.
Right.
Those late October trips or early November trips are always a little sketchy. So that's one of the first things I look at as a schedule every year that comes out is like, when are we going to the UP?
Just the drive alone is enough.
Well, I'll tell you this. For me personally, I love the trip when I'm there. I hate getting there and I hate getting back. Right? It's just such a long trip, and we have it in the wrong order. So we hit Marquette, we hit Northern first, and then we got to go to Houghton, and it just sucks to drive past. You know what I mean? So it's better when we can go the furthest distance first and kind of then stop on the way home, right? So it kind of cuts that drive a little bit. But you're never so happy to see the bridge when you're coming back from Houghton on a Sunday night. So, and then our next home game is October 10th. On Friday at 1 o'clock against Grand Valley. So that's the big rivalry match, and it's a 1 o'clock kickoff on a Friday. So hope everybody can get out and come support the team. And right now we're both it's so early on, but we're both in first place, tied for first place in the league, and it's always a great match when we play them. And it'll be, I believe, it's Riverview Elementary Day, so they'll have the 3rd and 4th graders over there for at least the first half. Sometimes they got to leave a little early to get the bus, but it's a great crowd. Our last home game on Friday, we had Brookside over, and so we just partnered with the elementary schools in town. It's great to get them there. They bring a lot of energy to it, and I think it's a good deal. They get Brutus out there at halftime to try to save some goals off the little ones. But
that's awesome.
That's probably as far as I know the schedule, to be honest with you, right? Is kind of there. So we got 12 games left in the regular season for the conference season, and then qualifying for playoffs and conference tournament, and hopefully on from there. So, but we got a good stretch coming up for us.
Good.
Keep it up.
Yeah, that's getting young kids out, and that's what's so right now with Ferris State athletics. That there's a relationship that the Big Rapids, Mecosta County community have with Ferris State that I think is so special. Is you go to your games or the volleyball game, football, any of the sports, and I think there's a definite collaboration there between everybody that really is so important.
That's one of the sales pitches in the recruiting process, right? Is that the community is so supportive of not only Ferris State but Ferris State athletics, and you're going to see. I tell them all the time. We do our youth camps every summer, and we get great attendance from those from the community. And I've said those kids and their families are going to be at our games, and so they follow along. They get their favorite coach, and they want to go see him play, and just bridging that. And the same thing with the elementary school days that we do. We'll see some of those families back, right? Because the kid had a great time, and now mom and dad want to come back with them again, and it's just a great experience. I said, if you wear your soccer gear around town, somebody's going to stop you and ask you what the score was if they weren't at the game. So they're going to, the community's been a huge supporter of our program and athletics as a whole.
Yeah, definitely. If any player from any team at Ferris wears their gear in town, I mean, I'm sure they're loved, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
So. How much has Justin helped you when it comes to being that? I hate to call Justin a townie, but he is a townie now. You're pretty much getting to be a townie yourself.
I'm getting close, right? I'm getting close. I mean, I'm originally from St. Louis, and I always talk about that. I'm a big city kid at heart still, right? And I know I'm becoming a townie when I sit there and think to myself and go, I really don't want to go drive across town to Meyer right now. Yeah. Right? Or I'm going around, how do I skip these 3 stoplights, right? You know what I mean? So when you start complaining about traffic in Big Rapids, you're becoming a townie.
When you can really just walk there.
Yeah, right? You know what I mean? So it's those things. So no, Justin's been great. I mean, he's been great to join in and brings a different element of things, and like you said, some of the connections that he's created for our players and especially our education majors as well. Getting them set up for different things and getting connected. And that was one of the things that I challenged him with when he came on. I was like, this is an area where we haven't really done a great job or well enough job of diving into the community. So I want you to be that kind of liaison, for us a little bit there. And then we have Nikki Mack, I mentioned earlier, our other assistant coach that's part-time for us. I'm like, okay, you're the alumni connection, right? So we got to branch out and delegate some of these things a little bit. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Taylor Peacock, who's my full-time assistant and really my right hand and does so many things that takes so many things off of my plate that I can just focus on game planning and things of that nature. So I got a great staff that does all the dirty work behind the scenes. So,
all right.
Great. So when was that Grand Valley game again?
Friday, October 10th at 1 p.m.
October 10th, 1 p.m. So pack your lunch that day.
Yep.
Take lunch at 1 p.m.
Yeah, little afternoon off at work, and hopefully the weather will be great.
Or don't tell the boss where you're going.
Yeah. Little Dr. Green Day, as they would say, right? What I mean?
I think I'm going to take Kay to that one. That'd be
great. That'd be great because on a Friday, midday. And it's still that time of year, still decent.
Should still be decent weather, right? Late October it gets a little dicey, but October 10th it should still be great weather.
Yeah,
so.
But you got Roosevelt this weekend on Sunday, so you got to drive down to Chicago and then come back and.
Yeah, we get home late on Sundays almost every weekend that we're on the road, so it's tough. So those Monday morning early classes can be tough for the players. Probably the toughest group that has it is our nursing students. Right? So they're. They got to be down in GR on a Monday. We set it up. Monday's our off day, so we set them up to do their clinicals in GR on a Monday, so they're not missing anything with soccer. But then they're coming home. We're getting home at midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and they got a 7 to 7 clinical the next day, right? Yeah. So
Welcome to adult life.
Right? That's what I keep telling them. Hey, stay in school as long as you can. So,
My wife did that. She played softball at Ferris and went through nursing, and it was tough. You
Yeah.
know, she'll tell you it was tough. Just like you're essentially two things. You're a student athlete, but they both go like you have to do both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. You want to be excellent in both, but they both require 100% of you.
and we're blessed to have a great nursing program staff and program directors over there that understand the value of student athletes and being in their programs. And so it's not everywhere, right? There's a lot of times nursing students have to ask the question when they're being recruited, can I be a nursing student and an athlete? Because there's some coaches that say no, and there's some nursing programs that say no because of it. So Ferris does a great job, and like I said, the program directors we work with in that program do a great job of allowing our student athletes that flexibility. And I always tell them when they come in, you can do it here. It doesn't mean it's easy. Right. So, it's going to be tough and those type of things. So we got a lot of programs like that, but that's what they're here for, right? And they're not only that's why student athletes are so great as employees when they get on to the next step of their careers and their lives, is that they haven't had it easy. They've had to find ways and time management and all those type of things.
Yeah, you're talking adversity. That's adversity.
Makes you appreciate things, and nothing in life comes easy. Mm-hmm. So, well, all right. I think we're coming up the top of the hour. Usually, Pat's here to kind of send us out because he usually has somewhere to be, either golf or something.
Is there a song that he sings that I can sing for you guys? Or?
No, he'll call us and let us know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Greg, appreciate it. Good luck to you this weekend with Roosevelt, and then the next 10, 11 games of the season. Again, we're not looking too far ahead, and then good luck when it comes to the playoffs, and looking forward to it. I think October 10th, 1 o'clock, Grand Valley, home game. We'll be there.
It's a Friday, long weekend. Go for it. Let's do it.
Right.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it being on.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, thank you very much. It's Curry's Hot Stove League, which is brought to you by Zott's Bar and Grill, also by the Daggett Gilbert Funeral Home, and by Big Rapids Tire right here on B1039.